You are a successful lawyer. Not just good. Truly successful. An office on a high floor. Tailor-made suits. A name that opens doors before you even have to speak. You work for an international tobacco company. Your colleagues say you sold your soul. Your superiors say you're brilliant. You say you're just doing your job. You defend companies, not personal decisions. That's what you always repeat. Like that one time. A 15-year-old boy appeared on every newscast. Damaged lungs. Destroyed family. They sued the company claiming it made him addicted. You stood before the court without raising your voice. You explained that no one forces anyone to smoke. That the product was legal. That individual responsibility still exists. You won the case. You could have countersued the family for defamation. You didn't. That allowed you to sleep better that night. Since then, some colleagues started calling you the devil's advocate. It doesn't bother you, it's part of the job. At home, everything is different. Your wife thinks you're a good man. Your daughter thinks you're a superhero. When you arrive, she runs to you as if you save the world every day. And maybe, in a way, you believe you do. One morning, you drive to the office. Slow traffic. Construction noise. A huge truck maneuvers on the sidewalk. The ground vibrates lightly. You see an elderly woman walking slowly with bags in her hands. The truck tilts. 1 second, 2. The driver doesn't react. The metal falls. The sound is sharp. People scream. You don't get out of the car. You observe. Your mind evaluates legal responsibilities before emotions. Work accident. Probable negligence. Active company insurance. The traffic light turns green. You move forward. You don't call anyone. You don't look in the mirror. You just continue to the office. Hours later, you work as usual. Contracts, arguments, legal corrections, nothing changes. Until your phone vibrates. An unknown number, a message. We know you saw it. Go to this address. Or we will come to your house. You read the message twice. You think it's a joke. Then you look at the attached photo. It's your car stopped that morning. From another angle. Someone was watching. You put the phone away. Try to keep working. You can't. You leave early for the first time in years. The address leads you to an abandoned building. Lights on only inside. You enter. 3 men wait for you. They take your phone. They tie your hands. You recognize the man sitting in front of you, one of the most dangerous men that exist. He doesn't need to introduce himself. He looks at you as if he already knew you. He smiles slightly. Now you will work for me, he says, or I will report you for not showing up to the police as a witness in a death. He pauses. That death belongs to me. You feel your stomach tighten. He explains calmly, he needs to clear legal responsibilities, move money, protect his people. He needs a smart lawyer. He needs someone like you. Think carefully, he adds, because you have seen too much. You know what it means. You think of your wife, your daughter, your reputation. You think of the elderly woman. And you remember you did nothing. You take a deep breath. You nod. You accept. The boss smiles like he never doubted. The next day you return to the office. Everything seems normal. A novice lawyer approaches your desk, too confident. He says he saw a strange message on your phone when you left it charging. He advises you to be careful. Then he adds, almost laughing, one day I'll have your position. Something in his tone bothers you. You leave the building immediately. You call the Mafia boss. You say you need time. Silence on the other end. Then he answers, you've already chosen. He pauses. In 3 hours, I want you in this city. You look at the clock. Your former life begins to close quietly. Hours later, you are at an airport. You travel with no luggage, no explanation. The boss appears beside you. You ask where you're going. None of your business, he answers. Then he smiles. You're going to defend one of the men in my organization. Days later, you are in front of a man accused of killing unarmed civilians. You review the file. You know he's guilty. You build the defense anyway. You find procedural errors. You invalidate evidence. You dismantle testimonies. You win. When you start thinking about morality, you receive the transfer, an amount that would take 2 years to earn at the tobacco company. You stare at the long number on the screen. You call your wife. Tell her you're working a lot. Tell her everything is fine. You lie for the first time without feeling guilty. And that night, for the first time, you sleep with enough money to never come back. You start traveling constantly. Different cities, identical hotels, rooms where you never fully unpack your suitcase. Your old job stops calling. At first you notice, then it stops mattering. Money arrives on time, precise, silent. Millions a month. You send huge transfers to your family. You think this compensates for your absence. Provider, protector. That's what you tell yourself. You only return home twice a month. Your daughter still hugs you the same. But now it takes 1 second longer to recognize you when you enter the door. Your wife smiles, but she asks more questions. You always say they're confidential cases. It always works. You defend traffickers, ghost businessmen, men who never say their real names. You learn not to ask. You learn that the less you know, the longer you survive. The Mafia boss barely raises his voice. He never threatens. He doesn't need to. Everyone obeys before he finishes his sentences. You start to understand that you don't work for a criminal. You work for a system. One night, after a long hearing, one of the men in the organization offers you a cigarette. You refuse reflexively. You always hated tobacco. Professional irony, the man insists. Relax, he says. It will do you good. You take it just so you don't seem weak. You take the first drag. You cough. They laugh. You take another. The smoke burns your throat, but something calms inside you. You keep smoking. Days start to blur. Trials, payments, night flights. You stop answering family calls for hours, then days. There is always an excuse, but what there is no excuse for is subscribing to the channel and leaving a like on this video so that we can keep enjoying and learning together from stories like this. There is always work. The boss congratulates you less. That means he trusts you more. One night you get an unknown video call. You answer. The camera shows the door of your house. Your real house. A family is there, not yours. Unknown people hold photographs. You recognize a man. He was a victim of tobacco-related diseases. They speak quickly, they shout. They say they know who you are. They say you ruined lives. One points toward the door, says they can enter whenever they want. You cut the call. Your hands tremble. You call your boss immediately. You explain everything. Silence. Then he responds calmly. You can't do anything from there. You say you'll go to the police. His tone changes slightly. You won't do that. The call ends. You stay staring at the dark screen. For the first time you understand you can't protect your family. Only wait. Days later you notice something strange. Your phone works slower. Some conversations disappear. Contacts moved. You think it's paranoia. Until one morning you wake up and the phone has small marks you don't remember. It's identical, but it doesn't feel the same. You don't ask. You learned not to. You start sleeping badly. 2 hours. 3 at most. You smoke more. One after another. The smoke fills hotel bathrooms and closed cars. Your hands tremble when you don't have a cigarette. A lawyer who defended tobacco companies now needs nicotine to function. You don't analyze it. You just continue. You lose an important case. A direct partner of the boss. You get distracted thinking about your family during the interrogation. The judge rules against you. The silence afterward weighs more than any scream. In the court bathroom, you light another cigarette. One of the men from the organization enters. He looks at you. Now you worry about them? He asks. In months you only saw them a couple of days. Something breaks. You hit him before thinking. The man falls against the sink. Security arrives immediately. The police come minutes later. They arrest both of you. The cell smells of dampness and metal. You ask for a cigarette as soon as you enter. Then another, then another. You can't stop. Time becomes thick. You think of your wife, your daughter, the elderly woman under the truck. Everything you ignored. Anxiety crushes your chest. You call the guard. You say you will talk. You will give up your boss. You will say everything. You just want to go back to your family. The guard watches you without expression. He smiles slightly. Interesting, he says. You don't know if it's mockery or real interest. Hours later, you doubt what you did. Maybe the guard works for the Mafia. Maybe not. Maybe he's just playing with you. You're no longer sure of anything. You spend days without knowing what will happen. Sleep disappears. Smoke fills your lungs constantly. Finally, you get out. Fine. Temporary suspension to practice law. The boss calls you. Says it's best that you return home, that you rest, that you clear your head. You accept without arguing, because you no longer have the strength to decide anything. You board the plane staring out the window without thinking. For the first time in months, you return without instructions. No escorts, no job, just you. You believe everything can be fixed, that you still have time. The plane lands at dawn. The city remains the same. Same noise, same streets, the same life that seems to have waited for you intact. During the trip, you imagined the moment many times. Your daughter running to you, your wife hugging you without questions, the familiar smell of your home. You think you can still fix it, that it was just a detour. You take a taxi. You don't smoke during the ride. You try to feel clean again. The car stops in front of your house. You get out slowly. The garden is kept, overly kept. You don't remember leaving it like that. You walk toward the door. Your heart beats faster with every step. You ring the doorbell. You wait. Footsteps on the other side. The door opens. It's not your wife. A man looks at you confused. It takes him a few seconds to recognize you. It's the novice lawyer, the one who wanted your position. Now you dress better, more confident, calmer. "Can I help you?" he asks. You don't answer immediately. You look behind him. The furniture has changed. There are different paintings on the walls. Nothing smells the same. You ask for your family. Your voice comes out weaker than you expected. The man frowns. He says your name slowly, as if trying to confirm a distant memory. When he finally recognizes you, his expression changes to discomfort. He explains that your wife waited for months, that you stopped answering, that no one knew where you were, that one day she simply decided to leave. Another country, new life. He doesn't know exactly which. You ask about the threats, about the people outside the house, about the calls. He shakes his head. He doesn't understand what you're talking about. He says nothing happened, that he never saw anyone. The silence becomes unbearable. You try to say something else. You find no words. The man says goodbye with awkward courtesy. He closes the door slowly. The sound of the bolt resonates louder than usual. You stand still for a few seconds, then your legs fail. You fall sitting on the sidewalk. The air seems heavier. You try to light a cigarette. Your hands tremble too much. You light it anyway. You inhale deeply. The smoke no longer calms anything. It just fills the void. An engine approaches, then another. 2 black cars stop in front of the house. The doors open at the same time. Men you don't recognize get out silently. They open the trunks. They take out briefcases, one after another. They place them carefully in front of you. No one explains anything. It's not necessary. You know exactly what it is. Your payment. Everything you earned. Everything you chose. One of the men nods slightly and returns to the car. The vehicles drive away. You remain alone, sitting on the sidewalk where you once lived, surrounded by enough money to buy anything, except the one thing you wanted to recover. You cry without trying to stop. The cigarette burns between your fingers. The smoke slowly rises toward the morning sky, and for the first time you understand something simple. They never forced you. They just offered you to keep being who you already were. The devil's advocate, now without clients, without family, without a home, only with the perfect reward for every decision you made. The briefcases remain closed in front of you while the city goes on as if you never existed. The money will never leave. Neither will your success and talent. They will still be there, waiting for you to make the next decision. Because this only ends if you want it to end. The next step is already in front of you. You can go watch the next video and discover what happens in another new story. And if you don't want to miss the next ones, subscribe. Leave a like as a sign that you were here. Because those who move forward are the only ones who get to know how every story ends.